What's up, folks? I'm back with another show and tell. Today is March the 9th, 2022. I've kind of been on a little rampage with some updates and show and tells and some new guns. The most recent was my Streebog and a Shadow Systems MR920. So I'm going to get right into it. I picked up the Shadow Systems DR920, the War Poet edition. I do have a mag. There's absolutely nothing in the chamber. I picked this up within the last hour, and I feel that I didn't give a fair show and tell kind of a review. Not so much a review, but more of just a little explanation about the MR920 and are they a Glock knockoff? Are they a clone? I guess it's whatever you want to call it. So I have been doing a lot of research on these. Before I get into that, it actually comes with some really cool things. So first and foremost, you get a nice cardboard box. And then inside of that box, looks like they got stuff taped up here. You got your different back straps. You got Loctite. You got the tool to push the pins. And you got a little piece here that serves the purpose if you want to run a mag well or not. That comes with the Shadow Systems. Also inside of that bag is a carrying case. Actually, I'm sorry. This little Ziploc bag with the Loctite that you've seen taped in the top of the box, those are all different types of screws depending on the red dot system that you want to mount. So here is the bag that have the different back straps in them. I have the back strap in there that is equivalent to a 1911 frame. I should say angle. It's very similar. It doesn't have the hump where, like a Glock, you're kind of overextending your wrist. So then you get a Shadow Certificate's certificate of inspection. Kind of feels like it's actually on resume paper. It's not just a regular piece of paper. Looks like you get a safety and operator's manual, kind of your standard instruction manual. Probably, don't point your gun at somebody and always point them in the safe direction and trigger discipline, stuff of that nature. So let me put this stuff aside, and I'm going to get a little bit into this gun and these Shadow Systems and why I went with them. So I've never been what I guess you would classify as a Glock fanboy. I certainly have a special place in my heart for Glocks. They've served me very well. When I was undercover, I ankle carried a Glock 26 for many years. I've also tricked out Glocks. I think I've owned every model of them. So my latest Glock that I kind of tricked out was a 19X, where I had mill work done, Cerakote. I had it specifically cut for a specific optic, and I don't want this to be confused or misconstrued with anything. Glocks have been tried and true. They're very well proven in every application, right? Law enforcement, military, civilian use. I have never experienced a failure out of a Glock. I've never seen one. I've heard of them. I've read about them. But me personally, I've never seen it with my own eyes. I've never seen a Glock just break down. And I have to think that's pretty incredible for how many guns I've shot in my life and how many times I've shot and how many rounds I've shot in my life through different types of platforms and handguns, rifles, and stuff of that nature. So anyway, this didn't come like this. You can get them with the red dot. So just want to make sure we're safe. There's no mag. There's nothing in the chamber. This is what they considered a blem. I can't see a blem. It looks like it could have been something with the tooling and the machining. it's certainly not going to interfere with its functionability. So I want to say it was, oh my God, 829. Now this is brand new, like it's never been shot. There was a blend program that they had, and a buddy had a spare brand new 507C that he kicked me for a couple $100. So this is now the setup that I have. So the reason I really wanted this one versus the MR920 that I did a little show and tell on earlier this week or last week is I needed a threaded barrel. So I recently am in the waiting process for my rugged Obsidian 9 that I was actually running on my Streebog, but I definitely wanted a 9mm with a threaded barrel, and unfortunately I do not have any 9mm with a threaded barrel. So I didn't want to pass up on this. I'm going to explain why. So I probably could have spent $200 and that I used to buy this red dot and buy pretty much any threaded barrel out there on the aftermarket world. I love the grip angle of these. I really do. There's so many things about this that I would probably never purchase a Glock again unless Glock starts doing slide work. I don't think this is Cerakote. I think it's oh God, I don't know. It is not a Cerakote. It's it reminds me of the finish on the Smith & Wesson, the M&Ps. Sorry, I cannot think right now. It's gonna come to me after this video is over. But anyway, the detail in the slide work is amazing. So this is what they there's a combat and then there's an elite. So the difference is the window cutout here, and also the top of the slide has been scaled. The combat, I guess, doesn't have a window and may or may not have stippling at the top from the milling, and may or may not have red dot capabilities, unless you send it off, of course, and had it done yourself. But so let's think of this, right? So let's use my Glock 19X as an example. So I was without the slide for a week, which wasn't a big deal, right? It was here in the same state that I live in. It was like literally 30 to 45 minutes away from where I lived. The guy guaranteed a 3-day turnaround. He took it to his buddy who owns a Cerakote shop. And it was, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 days. So I had everything back. But then I don't know anyone that stipples locally. So I had to send my frame off. And a lot of people are real finicky because it's a lower that's serialized and you can't send them through the mail. So you're without your frame anywhere up to 6 to 8 weeks, right? Depending on who you send it to. Sometimes longer, or sometimes you might find that reputable company out there that's like, hey, yeah, send it in now. I can get it back to you within a week or 2 weeks. But in my experiences, I've always been without a lower for just shy of 2 months every time I've sent my my frame out to somebody to do the stipple work. So my 19X, I want to say around $600 before tax. So I paid, I want to say it was about $250 to get the slide work and the Cerakote, which is actually really cheap, right? And for the quality of work that was done to it, I think it was a steal. So now we're at $850. Now we're at the price of the gun, right? Of this gun, of what it cost. But these come, you can call it a stipple. It's a factory stipple job. It's very coarse. It's like a grit, like more of like a sandpaper type. Both index points are done on each side. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm beating up Glock. So I love Glocks. Don't get me wrong. And I run Smith & Wesson M&Ps that accommodate red dot systems. So here's where Shadow Systems just knocked everybody's dick in the dirt. There is no mounting plate. There is no mounting plate required to mount a red dot to their slide. It comes with a variety of different mounting bolts, screws, whatever you want to call them, to accommodate almost every red dot on the market without having to reach out to a third party that is going to mill you a plate that's going to fit on a Glock MOS or Smith & Wesson M&P. It's right there. So there is no wait time. There is no spending an extra 40 to 100 bucks on a plate, depending on what company you go through. There's some great companies out there, but then again, it's added cost, right? With COVID just fucking the economy up, that's what they're claiming. I'm not going to get into that, but it was really difficult to get handguns, any type of guns, right? Ammo was fucking non-existent. But now that things started creeping back and they seem to be back in full swing in the firearm community, prices have gone up just like everything else has. So there's folks out there that just they can't afford it, and I understand. I've been there before. Sometimes I'm there depending on what I'm buying or what bills just came up out of nowhere, right? So people are maybe on a tight budget, but let's not to go down this rabbit hole. You don't need all of this stuff to be at a certain level. What you need is training, right? I can honestly say I shoot a lot now. The last probably mid COVID, so we've been on COVID for like 2 years now. There was about a year there in the last 2 years, kind of in the middle, where I did not fucking shoot. I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen to our country. Weird shit was happening. I wanted to make sure I had an ample stockpile. And so basically what I did is I dry fire the shit out of the majority of my carry guns, my carry rotation, certain rifles, stuff of that nature. But now that everything is fully stocked, Academy's got tons of ammo on their shelf. My local gun shop's got ammo everywhere. It's just a little more expensive now. So if you can afford one of these, absolutely buy it. Because you're not going to have to send anything off if you want all this extra stuff done to a Glock. So some of you might disagree with it. I may piss some of you off. I know there's some Glock fanboys. I think the worst I've encountered were SIG fanboys. I don't have a bias for many firearms, unless it's a Taurus. I've given SIG plenty of opportunities. I have some very early videos that were made a couple, I think 3 or 4 years ago on the very first X-Carry 320. I had nothing but fucking problems with it. And I got bashed left and right. And hey, I'm giving you fair and honest feedback. I'm sorry that, my SIG didn't run to your standards, because it didn't run to my standards, not at all. I bought one of the first P365s that came out, and it was absolute garbage. But anyway, this is neither here nor there. We're talking about the shadow systems. So all in all, $850. I want to say it was $829 or $849. But anyway, it was just a little over $900 out the door. Like I said, a buddy had a brand new 507C, and we threw that on there. So we're looking at about $1,100, and I want to say you can get these for about $1,250, maybe before tax, depending on the state and jurisdiction you live in. But for this setup, generally, I would say anywhere from $1,150 to $1,300. I think that's a fair guesstimate on this. So I wasn't too much cheaper, and that's because obviously I didn't buy the red dot at my store. But I really like this frame. You really have to just go to your local gun shop or whatever store sells firearms that you have in your area, and if they have one of these, grab it, hold it, dry fire it, play with the slide. It literally is a Glock clone. Let's call it that, right? The reliability, I can't get into that yet because I have not shot either of these. I understand that they're calling for 150 to 200 round break-in period. I've watched a few of the CEO's YouTube videos. One second, guys. And with me being a huge 1911 guy, I totally understand and appreciate the the needing for a break-in period. Now, every Glock that I bought, right out the box, I break it down, I wipe it down, and I put my own oil in there, and I run it, and it's never once failed me. But that's the Glock perfection, the Glock reliability that everybody knows of. These shadow systems are somewhat new to the industry. I think they've been out for a little over a year now. Could be wrong, it might be a little bit longer, but they're coming out with new models. They're updating certain things. They're doing different slide work. The internals are still the same, I believe. But they are looking to improve everything, not just aesthetics, but also internals, functionability, reliability, all that stuff. So it does come with 2 PMag magazines. I would like to have seen 3 for how much these cost. I do have, so this is a Glock 19X, so it is a Glock mag, but it's the ones that typically come with the 19X. Fits in there just fine, no problems. I'm understanding that these will run all Glock mags. I think it's the Gen 4s and up. I'm not sure about the 3s, but yeah, it comes with 2 17-round PMags, and then the MR920, which is the size of the 19, comes with 2 15-round PMags. So this one does have the fluted barrel. Pretty cool looking. It's got the Warrior Poet stamp in there. Here, I'm gonna get my, I don't know if that's gonna focus or not. I apologize, I am using the camera on my iPad, and I believe it was, oh, then you see the War Poet and stamped into the barrel. Trigger's very interesting. It's kind of a flat face. Oh, and this is the other thing. If it's a true War Poet edition, it's got the red safety lever inside of the trigger housing. Just a regular Shadow Systems is entirely all black, which is just some subtle differences. It does have an extended slide stop, slide release, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It is a 3-pin design, just like a Gen 5 Glock. So 2 here, and then obviously 1 in the back that's holding your trigger housing group in. I don't know what else to say about it. It does come with Ameriglow sights, blacked out rears, which I love. I love blacked out rears. And this thing glows like the North Star in pitch darkness. This the front blade. So DR920. I think we have a little better. You can see that War Poet emblem they have there. Pretty cool looking. It's just kind of their trademark. I do like the double undercut, like I showed you in the MR920. So anyway, guys, I did not intend for this to go for 18 minutes. If you run one of these, let me know what you think. Thursday nights are half off at my local shooting range, and that's the days that I normally like to go shooting because it costs me $6. And I just want to get this zeroed in. I do a 10-yard zero with pistols. I understand everybody's different. They want a 50-yard, 25-yard, 5-yard, whatever it be. It's your personal preference. It's your gun. You do what you want to do. I do 10. And then that's where practice comes in. So if I'm shooting at 25 yards or more, I know my holdovers, hold unders, whatever it be. But anyway, guys, I want to keep this below 19 minutes, and we're just a few seconds away. So I will talk to y'all soon.